You're a demon, apparently. Chapter 6. You dreamt of starlight. Were they the same stars from here? Or were they the ones that you knew back home? Were they even the same stars? Did it matter? Probably not. It was a dream that you'd had before. It mostly appeared when you felt lonely or helpless. When you just wanted to get away from everything, even only for a little bit. Usually you didn't even have a physical body here. You simply were. It felt comforting, floating amongst the silvery pinpricks of light. Nothing could hurt you here, and nothing would bother you. Here at least, you were in complete control. You notice a slight shift in the air or whatever dream/space had that could shift. A multitude of stars coalesced ahead of you, forming a path of starlight that was solid under your feet that you just noticed you had. Something was different. Off. Wrong. It felt like someone else was here, but that was impossible, even in Ponyland. Right? The path ahead seemed to stretch on forever, and behind you was no different. Well, I got nothing better to do. You sighed, and no one in particular, and set off down the trail. Eventually, you would wake up and probably even forget that you had this dream to start with, so why not do something new with it? It was hard to tell how long you'd been walking. Dreams were rarely good at conveying the passage of time. A minute awake could be a minute in dream, or maybe hours. It felt like hours. You weren't really getting tired, just bored. That was a new feeling, being bored in your own dream. There was also the profound feeling that you were more awake than you'd ever been while dreaming. What was that term? Lucid? Is that what you were doing? Unnervingly, with increasing frequency, you had the feeling that you were being watched. No matter how hard you looked, you couldn't find the source. It was as if every mode of light was another eye, watching you and judging you. But why? Why? Why won't they just leave you alone? You didn't even do anything. The full weight of your situation came crashing down on you all at once, dragged across time and space into a completely alien world against your will, all because some complete dumbass fucked up. Since then, you'd been forced to stall for time, possibly for your very own life, while desperately trying to figure out a way back home. Then, Pony SEAL Team 6 tried to zap you to literal hell before you barely escaped. All this with your only ally being a unicorn with PTSD who now refused to talk to you because fuck your life. You didn't ask to be here. Hell, you didn't even want to be here. And yet just about everyone you'd come into contact with has tried to enslave you or outright kill you. What in the absolute hell was wrong with this place? Collapsing to the floor, you were racked with heaves and shakes. Whether it was from the sobbing or the pent-up rage now released, you didn't really know. Not like it even mattered anyway. At the moment, you just wanted to be left alone. For what felt like a long time, you just laid there. Probably not looking the most attractive that you've ever been, though you didn't really care. Not like anyone was there to watch you. If you wanted to have a breakdown in your dreams, then who the hell was gonna stop you? Eventually, you noticed a silvery light shining ahead of you. You look up to see the moon, or at least an approximation of it. It wasn't painful to look at, but still bright enough to obscure the features of the silhouette of the figure within it. Wait. What? There was a face on the moon, staring at you. Not knowing what else to do, you stared back. At first, you felt like you should be alarmed, but you weren't. Something about that face seemed kind or sympathetic? You couldn't quite place the feeling, but it was rather pleasant. The moon started to drift towards you, gently like a cloud, as opposed to hurtling towards you like Majora's Mask. As the moon got closer, you felt something, or someone, trying to talk to you. You reach out towards the moon, hoping to make contact. Your fingers almost reached the silvery orb, only for it to be snatched away by a multicolored blur. The creature that stood before you, well, it was almost too crazy, even for a dream. It looked like God gave a 4-year-old a box of animal parts and said go nuts. Okay, I'm definitely losing it. Otherwise, my head's not nearly fucked up enough to come up with this, you stated flatly. The creature shot you a sour look as it dribbled the moon like a basketball, the silhouette inside bouncing like a bobblehead.
Firstly, rude. Second, you're more creative than you give yourself credit for. You just haven't tried to use it for more than sarcasm and cynicism. Quite the waste,
it retorted. You blink. It sounded a lot more pleasant than you'd first thought. Also, vaguely familiar. The connection was almost made when the thing popped up right behind you wearing a red robe and an odd black hat.
Oh, don't go there. The last thing we need is to start with that obvious joke. It's been done to death.
And right on cue, its flesh disappeared in a puff of smoke, leaving only bones behind. Its jaw open and hung slack for emphasis. You jumped in surprise and tried to put as much distance between you and that thing as possible. If you could just stall long enough to wake up, this would all be over. As you glanced over your shoulder, you saw the creature gaining on you. Only, it wasn't even running, it was floating, mid-air, sitting in a position not dissimilar to being in a car. The robe was replaced by a police uniform, one of those brown ones that you'd see in the southern parts of the US, complete with a wide-brimmed hat. The now flattened moon currently appeared to serve as a steering wheel. There were even red and blue lights and a siren. It then raised its line paw to its mouth.
Pull over!
It commanded, its voice sounding exactly like it was coming from a bullhorn. You stopped, less out of obedience and more out of sheer astonishment. The thing screeched to a stop behind you, like a literal tire screeched. It pantomimed getting out of a car and swaggered up to you, the moon under one arm.
License and registration?
It said in an awfully fake southern accent as it looked you over from behind its aviator sunglasses. I don't... You stammered in response, at a loss for what else to do.
And illegal then?
It accused, then continued in its normal voice.
Not surprising, considered how a human like you got here in the first place.
I'm not... Wait, how do you... Wait. Human? You sputtered out.
Well, yes, human. I have eyes.
It proceeded to take them out of its head and show you them. So, you know what a human is, and you don't think I'm a demon? The thing blinked, its eyes reappearing in their sockets.
Demon? Is that... Hold on one moment.
It said, before punting the moon out of sight like a kickball.
Is that what they think you are? A demon?
Well, yeah, that's what I keep hearing, you reply. The creature exploded with laughter, a literal explosion of miniature versions of itself giggling and guffawing. After a minute or two, the minis collected themselves back into a singular being who was still chuckling a bit as the stragglers made it back.
What? You a demon? Oh, that is the funniest thing I've heard since the time I convinced a major corporation to make live-action versions of beloved classic movies being a good idea.
You were about to ask what the hell it was talking about, but it cut you off before you could, by pushing you into a surprisingly comfortable armchair that hadn't been there before. The area around the two of you darkened, and a projector light appeared on a screen the creature pulled from thin air.
Although, to be fair, you humans don't exactly have the cleanest hands,
it remarked, gesturing to the screen. On it was a montage of humanity's lowest points. War, slavery, greed, the E.T. video game.
Don't get me wrong though, you've had some good points too.
The screen changed to the high points. Peace, freedom, cooperation, cat videos.
So that begs the question...
Suddenly you were whisked from the chair and onto a comically large microscope. You felt a bit self-conscious as the creature's yellow and red eyes studied you.
How did you end up here, of all places?
You began to answer, but got cut off again.
That's rhetorical. I know how you got here. Radical cults, flub summoning, yada yada yada.
In a blink, you appeared on a comfy couch in a neat office. The creature was nearby in a chair with a gray beard and wearing a tweed sweater vest.
What I want to know is what is up with this dream of yours? This isn't somewhere folks with a healthy outlook on life end up, so what's up?
You just stared at this thing. Honestly, what else was there to do?
Oh, right, manners, sorry. I'm still getting used to this whole polite thing.
It took the top of its head off like a hat and tipped it.
I am Discord, Draconiquus, Spirit of Harmony, Crown Prince of Chaos, Lord of Lunacy, and Pawtucket County High School Prom Queen.
At your incredulous look, he sighed.
A lot of liquor was involved. Turns out I even have an upper tolerance. And who might you be?
You began to respond, but are once again cut off.
You know what? Doesn't matter. What does is what's going on in this little noggin of yours.
He taps you sharply on the top of your head. Am I allowed to talk this time, or are you gonna change the subject again? You ask. Discord waved his eagle hand.
Oh, I've had my fun, and I am genuinely curious.
Why? Just about everyone else I've met hardly had my best intentions at heart. Ever since I got here, it feels like everyone expects me to be evil and are just waiting for a reason to confirm it. The Draconicus nodded sadly.
Ah, yes. It feels like they're just waiting for you to mess up so they can just get rid of you.
Exactly. I'm stuck in some basement for a month with a bunch of maniacs, then suddenly a Hexahit squad starts throwing rainbow nukes at me, and I nearly got a concussion. Discord laughed.
I suppose you have a point. Some of the elements can be pretty hot-headed.
Ah, so you know those crazy bitches, right? They try to fucking kill me. Light faded from the area as Discord's face darkened.
In the spirit of recent changes, I'm going to let that comment slide. Just remember, those are my friends. While some of those friendships are stronger than others, I promise you, I can do so much worse than kill you. Remember that.
To say your spirit fell would be an understatement. It was low to start with, and now it went subterranean. The ominous threat aside, you were now aware of the company that you now kept. Oh, so you're friends with them. Great. Now you're gonna tell them where I am, and then, oh look, I'm gonna be dead.
Psh, I'm not turning you in. This is the most fun I've had in months, and I didn't even have to do anything.
Okay, a weird friendship you got there, but at least I get to live another day. Hey, what can you do anyway? All I've seen you do is mess with my dreams. The starry motive returned as Discord's face blanked.
Have I? Didn't notice. I guess compared to telling the laws of reality to sit in the corner on a regular basis, altering the dreamscape is more or less passive. And before you ask, yes, I can technically send you home. And no, I will not.
What? Why not? You roar.
Because,
Discord says, zipping your mouth shut.
Sending a creature through the multiverse without knowing exactly where to send it could result in you ending up somewhere far worse than where you are. Assuming, of course, you survive. Oh, and all that precision makes me feel ill. Also, the longer you're here is all the more fun for me.
Discord put his face close to yours, with a smug look.
So, feel better now?
You try to reply but fail, what with your mouth still being sealed. A glare was the best response that you could muster. Mr. Mismatch sighed dramatically and snapped his claws, and you feel your mouth freed from its binding. You've literally done nothing helpful since you got here. You note, thoroughly irritated.
Well, excuse me, princess. I'm still new to this whole caring about other creatures' feelings thing.
Discord snapped, drawing back and striking a dramatic pose. Was that a Zelda reference? You ask. Suddenly, Discord wrapped you up in a slightly too tight hug.
Someone who finally understands. This is a true blessing.
He sniffled with a shining tear running down his cheek. You choked out a squeak, indicating that you're running out of air. How you could suffocate in your dream, you didn't know, nor did you want to find out. Positively beaming, Discord releases you.
Oh, watching you is going to be so much fun! But I guess if I have to keep you here, it won't happen. Besides, I think you have some more pressing matters to attend to. I doubt Amber can handle it on her own,
he says with a chuckle. What does that mean? Discord laughs and snaps a claw.
Don't worry, you'll find out in a moment.
Your vision began to swim and blur. You fell to your knees as Discord and the world around you faded into darkness. You were beginning to wake up. The voice of the Mad God echoes around you in the darkness.
This should be fun. And I promise you, it'll be quite the hands-on experience.
The morning's light shone through the cave entrance as you jumped awake. Oh god. Was that real? You asked yourself as you rubbed the remainder of sleep from your eyes. Amber! You remember the creature's cryptic words, and you looked to where Amber had been sleeping the night before. She was gone. Oh man, Discord's treating this like it's a frickin' TV show or something. Then again, would you really not expect that from him? Anyways, let's get on over to our resilient donators. Top donators, Dash of Evergreen, Peter Coulthard, J Tin Man, Darkside, and Ponyman. CourierCruz CI, Delta Omega, Strix, RuneScythe 9852, Dospo, Ryanny Dragonwolf, Hunter Norman, Austin Roland, Secret Moon, Tal Rasha, The Toilet Snake, Sword Brethren Mordred, Cerberus, Goulash Eating Hazar, Ronin Wandering, Starlight Glimmer, Squiddy Boy, David D. Sanchez, Soul Dragon, Gaggy, Trey, Shadow Drake, Joe Piercy, Alex F., Rainbow Dash, Teal K. Anderson, TV Killer, John Becker, Leon Reynolds, Raven Speedster, Zach Rakow, and Mr. ECU. Thank you all very much for watching this video. live life to the fullest, and make sure that your companions aren't kidnapped behind your back.